made 5 of these? How do you make 5 of these?
Celine, the Lycans are moving again. They have a new leader, Marius.
I'm finished with this war.
Well, it's not finished with you. He wants the blood of you and your daughter.
Even I don't know where she is. I need you to deliver a message. Tell your Marius I'm coming for him.
Underworld Blood Wars is directed by Anna Forrester, I believe. And it stars... Is this the one with Kate Beckinsale? This is the one with Kate Beckinsale. I was thinking Resident Evil for a second. But it stars Kate Beckinsale, Theo James. But that's about it, all that's memorable. Don't worry about it. So Kate Beckinsale plays Celine, and Celine, she doesn't know where her daughter is, but both Lycans and vampires want to know where her daughter is, so they're kind of fighting over to get Celine to find out where the daughter is, because the daughter's like the key to winning the war. But Celine doesn't know where they are, but they don't really care, so they're still going after her. And then after some sort of betrayal, Celine has to go up north to go find these, like, other vampire people to help win the war, I guess. I'll be honest, the plot of Underworld Blood Wars is rubbish. I don't know how they ended up making 5 of these movies, but they did, and I'm just gonna say it right now, thank goodness this movie's like an hour and 20 minutes long. It is so short. I feel like you could have finished the whole franchise in this movie. Like, not just financially, but storytelling wise, make a 2-hour movie, make it like the first hour some sort of travel to like end the war, and then the last movie is like, last hour is like action, non-stop action, and it could have been good. And it would have been decent and everyone would have been like, fine, you ended the movie, like the whole franchise on a good note. But no, this movie is so bad. It really is. Okay, so first off, I'm going to say this. I haven't seen the other Underworld movies. I'm going to tell you, you don't have to see the other Underworld movies. You know why? Because they dumped 4 minutes at the beginning for Celine to just narrate the last 4 movies to you, even though the third one was a prequel. It's just this... they just explain everything. It's just like, we need a way to let the audience know on what happened because they didn't see they were paying attention to the last few. And I don't think the writer was either. They were just kind of like, alright, I got the first... They watched all 4 movies, wasted a day, wrote a paragraph of the monologue at the beginning and be like, yep, it's done. Honestly, I feel like there's a scene, like after the first 4 minutes, it starts the actual movie. You could have cut the first 4 minutes and started there, and it would have been a lot more intriguing. It would have been like, oh, this is so much more intense, rather than getting this exposition dump at the beginning. And it's probably the worst scene in the movie, that like exposition dump. It's horrible. It's horrid. And that's just the first 4 minutes. That is 4 minutes of me going on about this exposition dump of a pile of a movie. I'll be honest, I'm actually really hating this movie. Let's talk about the acting for a moment. Kate Beckinsale sleepwalks through this movie. I've seen her in good movies. I've seen her have a really good performance in Love and Friendship. Here, she sleptwalked through Underworld Blood Wars. There is nothing to her character. There is nothing added to her character. She just retains the same stance the entire movie. There's no growth, there's no arc. It's just her being the same and wanting to fight off the Lycans and just be left alone. Theo James is bad in this movie. There is nothing saving him. I mean, he's not getting any work in the Divergent movies. He will not be back for another Underworld movie because it made no money, I hope. The action as well is actually really poorly done. I mean, the editing's way off. There is nothing special about the action. There's nothing original about it. It's just poorly edited, undigestible action, and it's kind of coated in this awful layer of terrible CGI of werewolves and blood, and you see a guy get hit in the head with a hammer and blood just explodes everywhere, and you just kind of can't stop laughing at that moment. You just can't. There's nothing in this movie that is almost redeemable. The green screen is horrid. It looks they go to this like winter like north cabin or something. I don't know, it's beyond some wall from Game of Thrones or something, and it looks like they used the same set 4 times. They just rotated it to look like a different angle. Not to mention the ending makes no sense at all. The direction is poor. I mean, there's nothing tasteful about the direction. It's all just original, undigestible crap. I mean, for Underworld Blood Wars, there's not much else to go on with. I mean, there really isn't. It's just like, hey, we made an Underworld movie, there's some action, there's Kate Beckinsale, there's nothing interesting about the plot. It's an hour and 20 minutes, which is short, so we can, people will watch it. But the villains are they're not developed. The secondary villains, not developed. Plot twists, not really expanded upon and don't actually mean anything to the end of the movie. Underworld Blood Wars, I'm really trying to think of some positive moment in the movie, and I don't think there was. There really wasn't. Even the ending was horrible because it's just like, there's a sequel. Like, the ending that I was thinking before, oh, there's this ending, and then there's like this 10-second like post-credit ending or something, and that just sets up for the sequel even more, which pretty much tells you the premise and you just go on hating it. And the worst part is, I understood all the movie. I understood what the first 4 movies. I should have gone into this movie not seeing any of the previous ones and been like, oh, well, I didn't understand it, probably because there was no, I didn't see the others. I had to see the others. You probably have to see the others who understand this movie. But no, you don't. They exposition dump it, and that's probably the most insulting part about watching this movie, yet somehow the most helpful. Underworld Blood Wars is horrid. I hate it. Do not watch it. I apologise to the person next to me after we finished. I will say Underworld Blood Wars is definitely wet socks. Have you seen Underworld Blood Wars? What did you think of it? What's your favourite Underworld movie? If you have seen any of them, let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and comment on the Platypus. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh wow, you made it to the end of the video. Good job. How about you click that subscribe button for more content? Or click one of these 2 videos. You know, either one's good enough.